actually why we do have a healthcare segment as well as a health insurance coach here on the air. And this particular segment of our show is sponsored by our very good friends
at Coventry Healthcare of Missouri
and Aetna Company. And again, making that decision at the time you're going to make that transition from your company plan to Medicare, it's a little scary.
Absolutely. It's scary because you really spent your entire working life using group health insurance.
Where your employer was choosing your plan.
Exactly.
And the benefits.
Maybe you had a couple of choices. You got to choose between a top-tier plan and a mid-level plan, or a high-deductible policy or a Cadillac policy. Sometimes people call it that. But really, you didn't have the entire world open to you to make this decision, and most people aren't health insurance agents, so they don't have that breadth of knowledge to say not only what are my options when I reach this point of transition, leaving my employer-based health insurance because of retirement, but also what are the criteria I need to set up to choose what my best option is.
And Medicare itself, the way that it's set up, is really very different than company health insurance.
I like to think of it as you are, with not only just employer-based coverage, but also individual health insurance coverage, you really sit in the middle of what Medicare offers you, because when you reach Medicare eligibility, you have the opportunity to choose premium with very low to no out-of-pocket expense, or no premium with out-of-pocket expense that has a limit. But with group health insurance or individual health insurance, you pay premium and you also pay out-of-pocket. So when you're looking at your new options, they seem very foreign because you're not used to having Medicare as the primary backer of your coverage.
And really, you have two plans. Understanding one plan is not easy. Understanding two is even a little bit more difficult.
Exactly, and all the various options that go into those choices. So, I met with Julie this past week, who was in this very situation. She's retired. She's 70 years old, and she is about to retire July 21st from the OR floor of Big Barns at BJC.
There you go.
And she is actually the 11th person that I've seen from this very floor. So there seems to be, I think it was funny. I met with the first person a few months ago. I guess she was the scout, really, to come in and see me.
Sure.
And she was prepared in advance because she's retiring about the same time Julie is. And she just said they all came in together and they all decided to leave together. It's kind of like they graduated from high school, but now they're just graduating to retirement instead. So
systematically, you're making your way around the floor.
Exactly. As they begin to leave, the next one comes in to visit with me, and they all want to know something very similar, because unfortunately, you'd think at a hospital system, just like our last caller said, that they would they'd have some level of insurance expertise that they'd pass along during that HR process when you're doing your exiting, you're figuring out what you're going to do with your retirement account and how long does your insurance last and all those questions that retirees have that HR generally works with them. Really, most employers, including the largest hospital system in Missouri, don't provide a lot of additional information to you on what your health insurance options are after you leave work.
So you know what they do?
They called me.
They called you? That's
yes. Right. And really, what she wanted to know was what are her options and then what's the best option, which is really everyone's question. And
so tell us about her.
So, like I said, she's 70 years old, and she was actually only seeing a primary care physician at this time and wasn't even taking any meds. So part of our process is we send out a medical questionnaire asking what your physicians are, what your medications are, so we can kind of take a look at all of your choices and boil them down for you when you come in for your appointment. So she had two directions to go. She could take that supplemental side, which is paying a premium every month and having very low to no out-of-pocket expenses. And for that would be $150 a month.
For a Plan G.
For a Plan G, which is one of the supplemental options. There are several. And then also she would need to add prescription drug coverage to that because these supplements and your Medicare coverage do not include prescriptions, so we add that on top. So she'd be paying about $175 a month for her coverage, which is about $2,100 a year in premium. And that doesn't include that Part B, which will be coming out of her Social Security since she's already 70. She started taking it, so that's going to come directly from there. The other opportunity for Julie is to look at a Medicare Advantage plan. And those really offer what I like to say is the exact opposite of a supplement. So instead of paying premium up front every month, what you're able to do is only pay for services as you consume them. So the pretty cool thing is you have coverage, you have medical coverage that supplements your Medicare, and you also have prescription drug coverage. But unlike any other plan you've ever had, you only pay for the coverage as you consume your services. So as you use it, that's when you pay. Most of the policies in Missouri and Illinois have about a $3,000 maximum out of pocket. So they vary depending upon which plan you choose, but you're looking at, in the worst case scenario, you'd be paying about $3,000. So those were her two choices. We talked about which would be best in her situation, what her concerns were about the policies, and we were able to she was able to leave with some clarity and say, this is the direction that I want to go, because she knew that she had seen all the choices available to her, and we took the time to kind of go through everything, and she thought, hey, this Medicare Advantage plan sounds right for me because I see the doctor 2 times a year, so why pay $2,100?
And this wasn't like a marathon session either, was it, Erin?
No, usually we can go through all of your options, and I am able to answer the majority of your questions within the hour. The nice thing is that most people come to see me in advance enough that they are not having to make a decision that day, so you're able to go home,